Lying.
Yes? What?
We've returned. It's not like we've been away for about 5 minutes.
No, we've
because I
been
needed
off
coffee.
planning battles and strategies and working out a resistance movement for when we are inevitably overrun. Like that wall, this big long stone wall you've spent like how many episodes making, and they tunneled through it. They didn't even bother walking around.
It's got one... Listen, I'm not saying it's perfect. It's gonna need defenses. The wall won't stop them. It's just a deterrent. It's a deterrent, alright?
It didn't seem to deter them very much.
Oh, you know what? If you've really got a problem with it, we've got a bunch of freaking bullets for a reason. Why don't you make some turrets? Or do you want me to do that?
Well, you can finish the wall and I'll make the guns.
Are you sure you don't want to, like, redesign the smelting area?
Well, it was a tempting idea, and then it was getting eaten.
I mean...
And then I have other priorities.
Do we have turrets? Yeah, we do have turrets.
We have access to turrets. We haven't upgraded them yet, but we can make them.
We have gun turrets. Okay, so, Alright then, man. Okay, so, welcome back to Factorio, everyone. We've got an enormous problem with aliens who are starting to come down. I mean, I say enormous problem, but I know a couple of people who have played this game that are so god-awful at building systems altogether, and are so focused on making the systems pretty that, like, they allow themselves to get overrun because they're focused on making things look good instead of efficiency.
I'm sure I don't know who you're talking about. Also, I've never been overrun. Actually, I have fairly good relations with the aliens most of the time.
Well, you've never actually had to expand your power network to something this big, I think. I'm just saying.
Maybe I've just been more efficient.
Sure. Whatever you say there, pal. Whatever you say. Helps you sleep at night.
Right, we've got an entire northern wall and parts of our eastern side covered by turrets now.
Okay, so, I
mean,
I
might
can
want to get a bit more wall on the northern side.
I'm still making wall, a little bit at a time here. I mean, really, a lot of this would be solved if I just had, if I had a better mining system in place for the stone, but I've just, for some reason, chosen not to do that.
Is that maybe something you want to work on, then?
Yeah, I suppose running these burner
for starters,
drills,
you could at least upgrade the burners.
Yeah, it's about time for me to actually move on from the burner drills, to actually, you know what? I've got a crap load of frickin' raw stone in my inventory for some stupid reason. I'm gonna go ahead and stash that in this chest over here. I'm just gonna let I'm gonna let it run on its own for now because I want to get rid of the deficit that I have in me, as it were. But I will get the stone done because we're not gonna need stone for a long time. Yet. I mean, we're gonna have to create...
we kind of need it right now, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we're making enough to finish the wall within short order, you know. Anyway.
Oh yeah, we need a new research shortcut of plastics.
Yeah, we need new research.
It's just been sat there.
I think what we want to do right now is fluid handling. Yeah, fluid handling is probably the best thing that we can do because that'll allow us to build storage tanks.
Yeah, and it is also the cheapest.
So, fluid handling it is.
Meanwhile, I'm going to get to work on this monstrosity over here.
And on... what do you mean when you say monstrosity?
I mean, I'm walking through your addition to the smelting.
I mean, I don't understand why you feel so compelled to do something about it whenever it's fine, it works. It's got 2 input systems on both sides of the belt. We kind of need that, right?
You used an underground conveyor to go 2 blocks.
How else was I supposed to power stuff within the space constraint? If you would just stop and take a look at why things were done the way they were done, you would see why they were done. Instead, you just glance at it and you're like, I don't understand this. I'm gonna go ahead and just rip it apart and rebuild it the way that I like it. And it's like, dude, this is how we get to political arguments. Take a moment to think about the other person in the room. Just for a moment.
Well, this is happening now, so either way.
4 objects being damaged. What?
What? Oh, south.
Shit. Okay, we might need
they'll hit
more
the copper
guns.
first, which is less of a problem, but...
I got it.
We need more
I got
guns.
this.
We definitely need more gun.
I didn't think that they'd attack this part of the wall, but evidently there's no helping it. There's always going to be some place that they've determined belongs to them. Not for the best. Not for the best at all. Oh dear me. Oh dearie me. What am I to do?
We're just going through the entirety of the oil processing section then?
Relatively. I mean, oil processing, the thing is, we've got basic oil processing. If we want to go to advanced, we have to start researching with blue packs, which, yeah, that's, oh boy. And I'm pretty certain that we have to get into oil processing to start producing blue packs. So we have to start doing...
Yeah, they require sulfuric acid to make.
Yeah, so... Oh, geez, look at this, Lying. You did the exact same thing as me. You only moved 3 blocks instead of 1. Maybe you understand what I was doing now.
More efficient use.
Any possibility, huh? Just any slight possibility here.
Or maybe I was working with small electric poles instead of medium ones.
What are you talking about? It's the exact same electric pole that, like, the entire... We don't have medium electric poles anywhere in the network.
Yes, we do.
Where?
We have access to them, we're just not using them.
There are no medium poles in the network. I'd go so far as to say that we haven't crafted any.
You'd be correct in that. I'm not sure why we haven't, though.
There's no argument for you to make on this front. No argument. Power grid is just barely holding up, too. I'm gonna have to set up another set of generators at this rate.
Oh boy. And then we'll get even more noise.
It's a never-ending process. I mean, you do a little bit more and it gets worse. You have to realize that every single time we do... Oh
we're under attack again.
Where... Jesus, man. Down there this time?
Yep.
We are on attack from all corners right now. Criminy.
We're gonna have to get more turrets up here. I'm gonna start crafting turrets galore.
I'm amazed by how many freaking... how many different sides we're being attacked from. My last gameplay, like, experience here was way, way better. Like, they left me they just left me alone in my last, the last time I played this game.
That's my experience too. I'm not sure what's changed. I'm currently crafting 14 turrets.
Okay, I mean, we don't really have the capacity to keep all of those turrets supplied, so we better hope that they don't fire off really frequently.
We just need to keep them supplied for long enough, really.
Oh boy.
And meanwhile, I can try to upgrade the bullet manufacturing.
Our primary problem right now, Lying, is the fact that we've got all of these plates, and they're not... Like, one of the problems with the line that you've got here is that everything goes to one side, so a bunch of the furnaces, like, we've got 2, 3 more... We've got a lot of furnaces now that aren't functioning because the lines are maxed out. Because there's no place for the plates to go on. That's the reason why it was a good idea to have furnaces on either side. That's not helping. That's the exact side of the line that needs to be... There's a reason I built it the way I did. That like why I expanded in the area I did, man.
Okay, well I can take advantage of the fact that we have to have this space in between because of these poles. There we go, that's a bit heavy duty.
Do you have any more... this is so much more expensive and convoluted than what I had going. Like, I've just got to point out that it's like, you're slapping in a bunch of splitters whenever they weren't necessary previously.
I kind of can't argue with that.
Just like, yeah, just yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, the additional good news then is that I've 2/3 upgraded the bullet crafting system.
2/3? What did you do? Did you add additional manufacturing?
I upgraded the machines.
Oh,
so
you, okay, you... Okay. Alright, I'm just throwing my leftover bullets into some of these machines. My god.
Well, we need it, apparently.
Do we want to do something about upgrading the bullets that we're manufacturing as well? Because it's possible to make more... It's possible to make better bullets.
We're currently working on plastic. We could upgrade gun turret damage, bullet damage.
Well, no, I mean, there's the standard iron bullets that we have, but it's also possible to manufacture copper jacket bullets, which takes both iron and copper. Actually, interesting story.
A flamethrower.
I had a friend who was deployed in Iraq, and take everything that I learned from him with a little bit of a grain of salt, but you know, some of the stuff sounds more feasible than others. A lot of it I haven't taken the time to like fact check, as it were. But he told me one of the things he told me about the construction of roadside bombs.
Well,
and what makes them so dangerous.
Besides the fact that they're bombs and they explode.
Well, I mean, all bombs that explode are dangerous.
Yeah.
But, you know, in regards to, like, well, you know, roadside bombs, you hear about them all the time, and it's like, well, yeah, it's a bomb, it's dangerous, but do you know why they're so dangerous? I was like, well, no, I don't, actually. And he was like, well, let me inform you. So, evidently, the way that roadside bombs are built is that there's a very small amount of actual lead put into roadside bombs. Just enough to tear through the armor of a car, and then the rest of the shrapnel that's inside of a roadside bomb typically is copper, and the reason is because copper has a lower melting point. So
it becomes liquid and splashes over anything you like to keep.
The idea is that it cools faster. It cools faster, and it's also not as dense as lead. So the lead pretty much gets, you know, disintegrated whenever it rips through the shielding, the armor plating and stuff. So all the lead goes to ripping a hole into the armor, and then the copper follows in right behind it, which, being unable to penetrate the metal, it just bounces around inside of the cab instead.
Eee.
That is evidently
where all of the squishy mans are.
Yeah, where all the squishy people are. So evidently that's the reason why roadside bombs are as dangerous as they are. It's because they're constructed with copper. And I don't know how much of that is like, you know, oh, well, if you know anything about ballistics, that's a basic type thing. Like, I have no earthly idea. Ah, great.
Problem?
Available performance is down again. We have to expand this.
More power.
We need more power. I can't believe it.
Jeez.
This
We're
is
soaking it up. We are drinking our milkshake here.
It's a wee bit on the dangerous side right now.
Well, good thing I've got more gun.
We are digging our own grave on this one here.
And then the aliens are shoving us into it. Hey.
Oh boy.
Actually, tell you what movie I watched recently, Tucker and Dale versus the Forces of Evil.
I've never heard of that. I'm actually not a moviegoer. You sound to be way more moviegoer-ish than I am. So, yeah.
Well, you might actually like Tucker and Dale because it's a horror movie, but it's a comedy movie based on sort of inverting standard tropes. So the two main characters are hillbillies.
Okay, I mean, that's definitely taking a different route. Especially
well,
given...
they're hillbillies, but they're perfectly fine guys. And what happens is that a bunch of college kids come up, they've seen all the classical slasher teens go on a camping trip and get murdered kind of thing by hillbillies. And they just assume that the hillbilly main characters are, like, villains that will chop them up and eat them.
Oh, great.
So then there's a series of hilarious misunderstandings where they're looking at it from just the right perspective, that it looks like something more untoward is happening. And they just sort of assume that they are legitimately these villainous characters, and they start sort of accidentally dying over and over. So one guy tries to stab one of the hillbillies with, like, a penknife, basically, by running up to him while he's busy working with the wood chipper. And,
the guy just steps out of the way.
Yeah,
and he
steps out of the way to grab the next piece of wood to chuck in it. The guy runs past him into the wood chipper.
Like, I don't even, like, I like hearing this, I don't even know that this qualifies as a horror, given the scenario and the circumstance. It's like, I don't know, man. That doesn't really sound so much like a horror film to me.
It varies, sort of. By the end of it, more or less the last surviving college guy is just so dead set that he's like the good guy in this force of evil battle that he basically becomes the villain.
It's certainly no Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, we don't have full coverage on turrets, but we have a lot of coverage on turrets.
And I did finish the wall, so that's good. I'm also going to step up the production of stone so we can start placing roads around here to get us around faster, so...
Right, because you move faster when you're on stone.
Yep. It's important. What do we want to research
Advanced electronics has been finished.
I've just been randomly smacking research buttons lately. I don't know what on earth we're up to at this point.
We can get material processing too.
Ooh, batteries. Oh, my god, batteries. Oh, and it allows us to do science packs 3.
Oh.
So, perfect.
We need to make those. Filter inserters and advanced circuits and batteries. Oh boy. That's gonna be a pain. We might need to expand.
Yada da 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 da. Oh my. Yada da 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 da. Oh my. What was it? Lions and tigers and bears? Oh my.
Yeah.